Hello and welcome to the Doctors Who podcast. My name is Chris.
I'm still Chip.
And I'm Brian.
Were you contemplating a name change?
Not really.
Okay.
Just making sure.
Cool.
Fair enough.
Anyway, today we're continuing our discussion on The Name of the Wind, the fantasy novel by Patrick Rothfuss. This is part 8 of our discussion.
Part 8?
It's great.
Wow.
Yeah. I think we
great.
said last time that we're planning on having two more after this.
Sessions on this.
And then we're going to wrap this book up. If you have any suggestions on what we should do after this, comment section. Use it.
Oh, I see it down there.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Yeah.
I never noticed.
Anyway, we left last time with Denna and Kvothe in the countryside around Traben,
Yeah.
and they spotted a dragon, but it's really a Draccus.
It's a Draccus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and you had a point you had to remember from last week.
did.
Remember, so.
Actually, and there are a couple points. So Draccuses are really interesting beasts.
Are you sure it's not Draci?
Maybe it's
Is it like cacti?
Is it?
Right?
It seems like it.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
I don't know the etymology of their words over there. I still have a
I
hard
don't
time
know.
with their money system. Anyway,
Talents and jots and things. Yeah.
so
Draci.
there are
10 jots make a talent. 10 talents make a silver piece. Or a gold piece, rather.
and then they always talk about half loaves. Is that like literally a loaf of bread, or is that like a unit of
And a
currency?
half penny.
Half penny.
Half penny.
Maybe
Anyway.
buys half a loaf
Yeah.
of bread.
We're talking about Draccus.
Draccus. So a
Draccus.
couple of things. I
Mhm.
I really liked how scientific they were about these animals.
Yeah.
For one, the fact that the Draccus was known to, it would gorge itself on the surrounding trees. It would just knock them over like they were, bowling pins.
Yeah.
A bowling ball going down the lane,
Mhm.
just knocking over stuff. But then after it would eat, it would go rest its belly and like roll over the fire. And my first thought is, that's awesome picture. Like I just
Yeah.
love the picture of
You
it.
could totally
Yeah.
visualize this.
But I also love the fact that lizards are cold-blooded animals, and so they rely on heat to actually process food. So this is like a legitimate way that I
Sure.
can see a fire-breathing
Sure.
Yeah.
beast, process food.
And I think I mentioned, I don't remember if it was last time or when we were not recording, but they made the assumption that a beast that breathes fire
Yeah.
would have this natural inclination to put fire out. Otherwise,
Yeah.
there would be nothing. Right?
It's just
Exactly.
it's very
Yeah.
well thought out. And
And you had an analogy as
yeah,
well.
I just kind of pictured it almost like a big cow or
Yeah.
some bovine animal
Yeah,
or
I
a bear,
actually-
some
right.
like omnivore that just kind of lumbering through, kind of
Mhm.
eating its way as it goes
Yeah.
and putting out fires and
Right.
breathing fire. And,
Right.
but the breathing fire wasn't even, it's not like the Game of Thrones dragons
No,
as
it's
they're
just like-
laying waste to the countryside. It's just like this.
belching.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just like the natural digestive process of the.
But where does the
Of
fire
animal.
come from?
Yeah, they spent
They
a
do
few
kinda go into
paragraphs
that.
going into that.
It was
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
really good. Anyway,
We have a couple sections tonight that we're going to break things down with. The first is called That Girl is Poison. And it's chapters 77 through 79 for those of you following along at home.
Yep.
And then we will get to the second section when we get to the second
That's
section. Yeah. So, Kvothe wakes up after sleeping on a waystone all night. He's kind of sore from
He's done a
almost
lot.
getting killed, riding 60 to
Mhm.
70 miles,
On horseback
On
and now hiking through the
horseback,
countryside
hiking through the
and,
countryside,
and
yeah.
sleeping on a rock.
Right.
yeah.
I mean, I would be sore just... I am sore from sealing my deck this morning.
Yeah.
And he did a lot more than I did.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I actually, as I read this, I was kind of leaning against the pillow, and then I realized that my back was getting sore as I was reading it.
Yeah.
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 But they get up and they explore the campsite and they find a scale for
Yeah.
this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they realize as they're looking
It's
at it, it's made of
crazy
basically
heavy.
iron. It's
Right.
real heavy and solid and
Yeah.
don't they
And
determine
they
that's
had
based
a
on...
scientific reason
Yeah.
for that
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they discover that it attracts to the lodestone or that big magnet. So
Mhm.
it's-
Yeah. And that might be important.
Well, we have said that every little nugget of information
Yep.
comes into play later. So
Rothfuss lays breadcrumbs quite well.
Yes,
Yes.
it does.
Yeah. So
but they still are kind of
they're
looking
trying
north,
to,
and they're trying to figure
go
out where
toward where the pig farmer said the
that
fire was, right?
Yeah.
And I think the previous night, like they had put like sticks
Yeah.
to point them to where they saw it.
Right.
And
But we still don't know if what they saw was the Draccus belching
Right.
a fire,
or like
if
the
it was something else.
Chandrian house
Yeah.
party or what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chandrian
Yeah.
house party.
That's a great band name. I called it.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
All right, it's yours.
Yeah.
But as they travel, they kind of reach like a kind of an outpost where there's a small hut and some sort of operation
but
going
the hut's
on.
been destroyed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who's in it is dead.
And
But
there's
he's
like
got a sweet crossbow that is broken.
yeah,
A
but he's got some
10
bolts.
galleon crossbow.
Right.
Yeah. But then there's like all these trees that were knocked down, and a bunch of them, there's splinters everywhere, and there's other trees around, but
And I don't know if it's at this point, but they notice at some point that these trees are like planted in rows.
Mm-hmm.
like they're harvested for something.
Yeah.
So as they're investigating, they find that, or they kind of come to the conclusion that the Draccus has been eating these trees, wasn't
Mm-hmm.
it?
Yeah.
And they find a big pot with some resin left in
I
it.
think they go. The Draccus comes back,
Oh, is that it?
and they
Yeah,
run
because then
along
they
the
go up and they
cliffside,
find that
and
kind
they
of
find
perch that they
they find that
end
kind
up
of like
in.
Mm-hmm.
almost
The
guard
outcropping,
tower hideaway where they have to
Right.
like go through this narrow spot in the
Right.
cliff and climb
Yeah.
up, and
Yeah,
the
why would you
Draccus is
need
like
kind of a-
trying to get through.
Right.
And, like, and Denna's like, this thing's an herbivore. You
Mhm.
said it was an herbivore. Why is it chasing us?
It's acting all freaky.
Yeah.
But then it's like, why would you need a kind of a lookout area over just a hut in the woods?
Right.
Right. And this is maybe where they noticed
Interesting.
the trees were planted in rows
Yeah,
when
'cause
they
they
had
kinda
that
have that
vantage point
advantage
up
up
there.
there.
Yeah. But
then it's when they notice the Draccus start knocking down the rest of the trees and just eating them. And
yeah. But they do some exploring and they find out that if they go back down to the ground level and they keep going through this fissure,
Mm-hmm.
they get to like this open area and they're like harvesting or something,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Kind of a black tarry substance is what I
Yeah.
pictured.
Yeah,
And they thought it was like maple syrup or
some
something
sort of like
Yeah.
candied
Yeah.
syrup or
Why not
something.
try a bite?
Yeah, why not?
Denna did.
Yeah, that was stupid.
That was really stupid.
Denna tried the dinner.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which brings up a good point. So for the record, this is actually they're cultivating Denna resin, and back in Traben,
The sweet eaters.
the sweet eaters like
They
the
were the
super
dinner addicts.
addictive
I assume they were like a
drug.
heroin addict. type
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
People.
that he talked about. But so they're actually like harvesting this drug here.
Yeah. So it's like they're in
Yeah.
cartel country.
Right.
And
Right.
But
Colombia
the
is what I
fact that the
picked.
name
I kinda
Denna
get it.
is so close to dinner, you pointed this out.
And I've read that online too, where somebody had said that it's possibly that Kvothe's addiction is Denna. It's
Yeah.
not that. But it's not a coincidence that their names are that close.
Right.
I don't think.
No,
Not
everything
In a
that
book
he
where-
writes seems very
No,
intentional.
not where he's put as
Very
much thought
purposeful.
into all
Yeah.
these other things. That's not just an
Yeah.
accident.
Right.
So.
But so she is like eating some of this stuff.
Yeah,
and
and
he
she
does,
doesn't
and
realize-
he realizes it too late.
Yeah, and she has no idea that it's a highly potent drug.
So like
It's-
he gets some like charcoal out of
yeah,
out of the fire and tells her to eat the charcoal as much as she can because
like
that's
drink
gonna
the water
like
and flush things out
that's
slowly.
gonna like that's gonna draw the drug out of her system
Yeah, and
faster.
hopefully
but-
slow the
yeah.
effects somewhat.
Yeah, but they find out that that's what the Draccus is.
after.
After.
Yeah,
the
it's
Draccus
crazy.
is a sweet eater. He's addicted.
Yeah, and those
He's a
trees are
Yeah.
the sap from those trees is what they're in here.
Yeah,
basically
they're
cooking
like
meth.
cooking down and to make
Yeah.
make the drug.
So.
So the Draccus
This
is-
part was actually really well.
I thought it was
Laid
well
out and thought
and-
out.
Yeah,
You can kind of almost excuse the last couple chapters because Rothfuss really is building up for this storyline.
right.
Yeah.
Which I really like.
This was fun.
Yeah.
The transition was a little rough and a little circumstantial, but
Right.
this part is really getting into some of the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
But they decide that Well, so Denna has some charcoal, and she's like freaking out, and
he's like, I don't think you're going to die.
No, but he doesn't know how much she ingested,
Right.
and he's kind of got a guess, and he's just trying to kind of monitor the situation with her. But he's also going through his mind on, if this thing's addicted to this drug, it's dangerous for Traben and everything else in the countryside, that they're going to need to kill it. Or they're going to need to do something to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
But they kind of get this weird, like, there's almost like a second where they realize, hey, we could actually sell this to like apothecaries and make a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, because they find what they think like 50 or 100 talents worth of whatever a talent equals. But
right,
a lot of money in this
at least
world.
one galactic credit.
Yeah. Right.
But they slowly, they're like, okay, we've got crossbow bolts, but there's no way to fire a crossbow.
But they don't have a crossbow that works. Denna thought we could run it off the side of the cliff or lure it off the side of the cliff so it would fall, but they didn't think that would work. They thought about sympathy.
But he couldn't come up with a way to make that work.
Right.
So they came up with the idea of like trying to get this thing to just like
ingest.
OD. Right. OD on this resin.
Yeah.
So like Kvothe does this mental math. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I think at this point, is she passed out yet, or is she
slowly? She's kind of. But she's high as a kite.
Well, she does go through the little the bathing scene where she's bathing in the river and saying, "Kvothe, come over here," and he doesn't take the bait, but she's just acting weird and different than normal, and so while she's kind of going through this, and that's when Kvothe's doing the mental mathematics to try to figure out how much of this resin they would need to kill it.
If you notice, he originally starts with, I believe it's either 3 or 6, with a peach size. I'm trying to think what the unit was.
Yeah, it was some. I think peach sounds right. It was like
and then they doubled it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
and he ended up with 42.
Yeah.
Which, as we know
it's the
from
answer to life, the universe, and everything.
42. So she learned something.
So they get this idea to build a big campfire to lure the Draccus back.
Yep.
Have this dinner resin there for the Draccus to eat. Hopefully, it will then just
keel over,
fall asleep, and peacefully die.
Yeah.
So they set everything up. They go up onto the waystone to let Denna sleep because
isn't this where she starts to get really chilled?
She's
so he goes up there and wraps his cloak around her, and
before she drifts off, she tells him that she did see Master Ash, which is her patron.
Yep. And it's not nice.
He basically
beat her.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the townsfolk wouldn't believe she didn't have anything to do with it. And it's just
with the wedding and surviving the wedding and all that. So the drug's still working its way through her system. And I think she's getting really chilled, and he wraps his cloak around her, and he says it was like his best night ever. One of the best things that's ever happened in his life was this whole just getting to hold her all night. Yeah. But the Draccus does show up
eventually,
which brings us to our next segment.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, I forgot
gorgeous.
about this, but we found this artwork. The artist is Phil McDarby, and this is called Luring the Draccus. So you've got a really cool shot of this, of them hanging this bucket of Denna resin off the waystone, and this Draccus, like the blue fire effect that they use is awesome. Really well done.
But that bucket of Denna does not look like it's enough to kill it.
Well, but they said they had it in a bucket, and they gummed it up along the side. But you have to
imagine the size of that head.
I know.
It's got a huge noggin.
I know. That is a large head.
It's awesome, though. Yeah. I like that. Because that's about how I pictured it in my head.
Yeah, it's a really cool photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a
not photo. Artistic rendering.
Yeah, I like that better.
Yeah.
Anyway. The depiction of
yes, exactly.
But this brings us to our next segment, which is called Dragon Slayer.
Ooh.
Good name.
Not the 1981 movie, but...
Right. So, Denna falls asleep.
Yep.
The Draccus returns.
And she's unconscious. She's out cold.
Yeah, he can't rouse her.
Even the sound of the Draccus doesn't wake her. So,
but he did. he did check her pupils, and she was still alive. An alert, she just was out from pure exhaustion at this point.
Yeah.
Should be noted.
So, and I think at the last moment before he put the bait out, he doubled it one more time.
Yeah.
Like what he estimated was like 6 times or 7 times the lethal.
What he thought was the lethal dose.
Legal dose? Lethal dose.
Yeah, exactly. Lethal.
But it doesn't kill it, right?
No, it just not right away.
It just enrage it even more.
It just gets a little
crazy, amped up,
right.
kind of like Denna did earlier.
But the problem, because they could just wait it out, but the
Harvest Festival's kicked off.
The Harvest Festival in Traben has kicked off.
So they're burning all these shamblemen and hay bales that they've
and so there's like these huge fires coming off the town, and the Draccus is attracted to fire.
Huh.
And he's like, oh crap.
Yep. He did have an oh shit moment.
Yeah. And the Draccus eventually sees that and starts like barreling toward the town.
Yeah.
And Kvothe has to make a choice.
Yeah, it's like,
well, Denna's not waking up. The Draccus is heading towards town.
Where all these people have no clue what's coming at them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he races in hot pursuit.
He hoofs it. Yeah, gets to the town, and the town is like in chaos when he gets there.
Yeah. So the Draccus has arrived.
Yeah.
It beats him there, but
yeah.
But what does he doesn't he find like a big old tree in the center of town somewhere near the Talon Church, isn't it? And he's
people. Yeah, so you had the 3 groups.
And he still had some more dinner with him, didn't
he? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The remainder in his travel pack.
So he was deciding what to do, which he decides to set the tree on fire and lure the Draccus in to eat the remaining dinner that he had.
And then he goes with the sympathetic binding.
That's right, because he's got the
he's
got the scale,
stone and the scale. And with the binding, he basically let's take a step back and just remember that the churches have these huge iron spoked wheels on them,
and that's from the story from earlier.
From Taylor.
Yeah. The Taylor story that he used that to banish Incanus. I can't remember. The demon.
The one who became Haliax.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
Haliax was one of the Shane.
It's something. It's someone.
Haliax was
Anyway,
but the iron wheels make a big.
Lore, clearly,
They play a big part in the Taylor religion.
They're huge.
Yeah.
And basically, he uses the scale, the loding stone,
to make the Draccus into a giant magnet
to the iron wheel, which pulls itself off of the church, crushes the Draccus.
But Kvothe had climbed to the top of the church to do this. Yeah. So he kicked off his boots, which I guess was kind of important because that's his only pair of shoes.
Well,
didn't he?
But he said because he was on the wet. He wasn't
clay tiles, right?
Grip, so he took off his shoes so he could.
Yeah, so he didn't have shoes again.
Because that's how he was used to running rooftops in Traben.
So he's up at the top of the church and creates this binding and
crushes the Draccus, but the church collapses and he's basically on the ground unconscious.
Blacked out, yeah.
We wake up. Well, he wakes up.
He's back in the inn.
He's in the inn.
Doesn't he make a comment about
medicated and
doesn't
bandaged?
Doesn't it feel like a church fell on me or something?
Taken care
of. Yeah. I hit by a church.
Yeah, something like
that. And he like gets himself out of bed and looks like everything hurts and he's in rough shape.
Yeah.
And somebody comes in.
And somebody that's kind of like alive. I thought it was another naming situation where he said she looks like an L, but that it actually ended up being her name.
I think they made the comment that like the doctor basically said, "Oh, he's never waking up," and not only was he awake, but he like got himself dressed and was walking around and things like that. So when he came down, everyone was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
And he talked to the same innkeeper that was giving him guff about Denna.
Yeah, he was asking about Denna if anybody had seen her, and wasn't nobody.
And he said nobody knew. The constable and the mayor are looking for you.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. And he did something with a penny, and I'm trying to think.
Yeah, he wanted to buy some supplies, and he put
burn it into the bar top.
Well, and he used blood.
Oh, that's
to create the heat. So yeah.
But I thought that was again like. We'll come back to this in a minute, but at this point, he's just looking for Denna. He wants to make sure she's all right, that she was able to get out of the forest all right.
Right. So he goes back, and she's not there.
Yep.
So he goes back into town, and the constable and the mayor find him. And this is where we find out that like he's not in trouble.
No.
But he's being lauded as a hero.
Yeah. But he's also kind of pissed because the Draccus would have been a huge opportunity to make some coin and for something to study.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
But the townsfolk thought it was a demon.
Right.
And they buried it.
With Ash and Elm. Wasn't it a pit 2x10 and
mm-hmm.
Ash and Elm and Rowan 2 or something?
Yeah. I thought basically burned it, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that they used Ash just like Denna's potential patron is Ash as well. I wonder if that's related in any way.
That. Could be. I don't know on that, but yeah.
Yeah, I want to know more about this patron.
Yeah.
Because I think there's definitely a Chandrian connection there.
Mm-hmm.
There's something.
Yeah. But anyway.
Speaking of the Chandrian, so like the mayor and the constable are in there, and it's like a super awkward interview, and at the very end he made a comment like, while I'm here, they asked if they could do anything for him, and he said,
what did they dig up at the Mothin farm?
Yes. Yeah. Find all the people in town who know something about what they dug up at the farm and have them come find me.
Yeah.
And so he hears nothing but story after story about, it was something that was a secret, or it was something about the barrow, or it was whatever. But finally, a 13-year-old girl comes in, and she's like,
she knows what
what it is.
Yeah. And it's this like large vase, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting
and she's able to like recollect the things that are painted on it and things like that. So yeah. So he's got his first concrete idea of what this thing was that was dug up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he kind of collects everything that's his and doesn't really have anything else to do in the town at this point. So
he gets on a boat and goes
back to the university to try to re-enter his classes.
He's got a lot of apologizing to do.
Yeah.
He missed classes. He abandoned his friends.
He abandoned the fishery or the work
for Kilvin. The Medica, everything. Yeah.
And you did hear that why can't I think of her name?
Debbie? Debbie?
No.
Fellow?
Oh, so he paid off his
He's
debt
got to go and figure out that with Debbie.
He gave her the load.
He gave her the loading stone and a talent.
Yep.
And
yeah.
So he got her squared away, and then Denna also made her way out of the forest and went downriver. So we know that she's alive.
Yeah, somebody did say that she caught passage on a boat.
She's alive, so he knows that. Yeah. So he apologizes to Kilvin, to the masters that he missed classes for, knowing that he's going to pay for it with a tuition hike.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ones he feels he needs to apologize to the most are Will and Sim, and he tells them most of the truth.
I think he gave him
a pretty good account
telling of what happened.
So,
and it was crazy that this entire time he was gone a total of 2 days. We've gone such wide sections of the book, and he just goes months or even years at a time between like entries.
And then all of a sudden we're at like 10 chapters takes up
2 days.
48 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, the pacing's kind of different.
It is.
The last couple chapters, but but good.
It is.
I like it.
Other than the forceful way he got them there, it was a fun element to the story.
Yeah, because it kind of broke things up. It was almost like a different section.
Yeah, right? It was almost like a little sub-story within the book.
So this is where we're stopping for tonight.
Yep.
Awesome.
Next week we're going to come back with the next piece. If you like what you've seen, please click that subscribe button. Leave some comments. Let us know what you think. If you've read the book, did we miss anything? Did we misinterpret anything? Is there anything that you liked that we left out? That sort of thing. We just love to have those conversations. Tell your friends. We like friends. We would like more friends.
We would.
We like you. I feel like Mr. Rogers now. It's
you and you.
I like. I'm gonna drink more beer.
Yeah, good call.
Mm-hmm. So, if you want to find more of our material, you can find our website at www.tardiscast.com.
Oh wait, I have an overlay for that.
Nice.
There it is.
Right there.
Yeah. It's right down there.
TARDIScast.com.
Fantastic. So come be our friend.
And right. Don't we have Instagram and
we do. Yeah.
Twitter and all
Brian,
that?
What are our handles?
TDW Podcast. On all of them.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's all TDW Podcast. Email is tdwpodcast@gmail.com. Yeah.
I think that's about it.
That's about it.
All right.
Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Allons-y.